Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another Warzone video. I hope you are having a great day. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how to do bunny hops in Call of Duty Warzone. Personally, I think the movement system implemented in this game is super fun. I thought it would be a good idea to provide a guide on how to do B-hops. Do you ever see your favorite streamers bunny hop and it just looks super cool, and then when you do it, it feels kind of clunky? Do you ever see the pros use bunny hops to win those crazy gunfights and think, man, I want to do that as well? Well, not to worry. Today we are going to go over everything you need to know about bunny hops in Call of Duty Warzone. We will cover how to actually do bunny hops the correct way. I actually noticed a lot of players not executing the bunny hop correctly, hence sometimes the movement can feel kind of clunky. We'll cover what are the best scenarios to use bunny hops and a few different ways to use the technique. I'll provide some examples / breakdowns to help you implement these tips into your own gameplay as well. By the end of the video, you should know how to do bunny hops the right way and understand when B-hops should be used during gunfights. Tip number 1, how to initiate the bunny hop. So what you want to do is tactical sprint in a certain direction you want to jump, and once you initiate the jump, turn in the direction you want to aim, and then press jump again when you land to hop further. You can hop a couple times after initial jump, hence why it's called a bunny hop. So it's pretty much tactical sprint, jump, turn and aim, jump, jump, then jump again. Tip number 2, timing. Now that the basic mechanics are done and out of the way, the most important fact in regards to doing the technique correctly is the timing. I used to make the mistake of pressing jump too early to initiate the hop. I used to think you have to press jump as soon as your feet hit the ground. However, a fellow subscriber left a comment saying, Andos, you press jump as soon as your body reaches its lowest point vertically and is about to come up. Imagine it like a trampoline or a spring, and you gotta jump on your way back up. It has a flow to it and you gotta feel it. Shout out to this guy, he's the real MVP. So the comment stood out to me, so I decided to do a little research. So I watched a couple other videos, and to be honest, I really couldn't get a straight answer. So I tested this theory and timed the B-hop. So I would press jump as soon as my body would reach the lowest point, and I would spring back up and kind of imagine it like a trampoline. And to my surprise, using that concept, it worked really well. My B-hops are not always perfect, but it's way more consistent now using this concept. You can tell when you get the timing right when your character seems like it's gliding. So in theory, what you want to do is press the jump button as soon as your feet plant and spring back up. You can kind of judge this by pressing the jump button when your body hits its lowest point vertically. The timing can be a little bit difficult at first, but you will get used to it. If you guys have any other ways to explain the timing or have any thoughts on this subject, make sure to leave a comment below. Tip number 3, avoid dead movement in front of the enemy. I know sometimes you have to perform B-hops under pressure to take out targets, especially if you're taken by surprise. B-hops are actually really useful in those scenarios. However, another technique you also want to keep in mind is to avoid dead movement in front of the enemy. I got this tip from Exzachtt. Shout out to that guy, he's one of the goats when it comes to movement in this game. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check him out. But basically, you want the initial animation of your B-hop to be behind cover. You want your character to be in full motion when your LOS is exposed. LOS pretty much means line of sight. I'm just going to break down a simple example of manipulating positions to avoid dead movement in front of the enemy when doing B-hops. So I spot a guy in the office here. He has all the cover and I'm pretty much in the open. So I decide to move over here, and at this point I have a head glitch, I'm pretty comfortable. I spot the enemy and decide to do a bunny hop place. So I slide to the right and create some space. At this point I know the target is to my right. So I'm behind cover, so I start my bunny hop animation and take the gunfight. The idea is to be at full speed when you're exposed to the enemy, so it makes it harder for them to track you. And a good way to do that is to make sure the initial animation of your B-hop is behind cover.
Get off me.
So tip number 4, scenarios. So I'm going to go over a few scenarios where bunny hops can be utilized. So if someone is pre-aiming your current area, you can swing out by using bunny hops instead of just peeking around the corner. A lot of players use this technique when the enemy is hard scoping, and you can swing wide to make yourself a harder target to track. Another scenario of using B-hops is for ego chows. So for example, if you're pretty hurt and you get into cover, now the enemy is going to push you and he's expecting you to hide behind cover, but you bunny hop and ego chow and catch him off guard. For example, if the enemy is shooting you, you want to wait a bit and try to catch the enemy reloading or in a sprint stance to get the kill. So I'm just going to break down a scenario where I had to use a couple of B-hops in a gunfight. So I get shot by an enemy and my first reaction is to get into cover. I could see the bullets coming through, so I wait a bit for the shooting to stop. I decide to do a B-hop now. I'm hoping that he's kind of sprinting towards me, reloading or throwing a grenade, and I can catch him by surprise. It doesn't end up working out. The target actually takes cover, so I decide to slide back in and try to take a different angle. I end up getting flashed, but decide to do the bunny hop anyway and check his last known location, and I end up missing. At this point, I try to bait him by pretending to push to the left side and slide cancel back into the head glitch and try to get Pika's advantage, but he ends up throwing a grenade my way, so that didn't work out as well. So I'm thinking this guy knows what he's doing, so I decide to swing left. Out of nowhere, he reads my flank, and to be honest, I was pretty lucky here that there's cover nearby, so I drop down. He's pretty much aiming his head glitch right now, so I need to make a play. So I decide to do a fadeaway and manage to get the kill. Some key notes: it's super important to move in and out of cover when doing B-hops. It's also super important to time your B-hops as well. This takes a bit of experience, but in theory, you don't want to jump out while the enemy is shooting you. And fadeaways are super useful. I use it all the time. We'll go over that more later in the video. Really quickly, I just want to say, if you're watching this right now, thank you for checking out my videos. I hope they are helping. Shout out to my subs. We're currently at 17k. You guys are really the best. I appreciate all the support. If you enjoyed the video, remember to smash the like button. And yeah, sub to the YouTube channel for more Warzone content if you are interested. But let's continue with the video. Tip number 5, the zigzag. The zigzag is pretty much slide cancelling, then changing direction, then performing a bunny hop. It's super useful in using this move, getting into cover and eliminating that dead movement as mentioned before. Tip number 6, the fadeaway. The fadeaway is pretty much when you bunny hop in a certain direction and do a 180 to face the enemy and then shoot while you're moving backwards. This technique is super useful to catch the enemy by surprise, or you need to create some space between you and the target. In this scenario, I'm fighting a couple enemies and really utilize my movement mechanics to get the advantage. So I managed to get the first kill, all good. I hear a guy coming around the corner on this side, so I'm assuming he's going to push me. So I try to break his angle by jumping towards him to get the upper hand. Now I'm just armoring up, but I hear someone behind me. The enemy throws a grenade, so I try to get away. At this point, I decide to do a fadeaway as I know the enemy is going to attack me from behind. I pre-aim this corner to see if the target will peek, but yep, I get it wrong. He appears on the right here. Remember how I was in this spot just a few seconds ago? If I didn't do a bunny hop earlier, I think he would have got me for sure. Luckily, doing the B-hop helped me create some space and I managed to get the kill. Bunny hops are super useful under pressure, and another key note, using audio cues to time your B-hops is also very important. Make sure to experiment with this and implement this into your own gameplay as well.
Get off me, man.
I'm just going to break down a scenario where I was caught by surprise and was able to utilize a bunny hop to get myself out of trouble. So I spot an enemy here, and in my head it kind of feels like a 50-50 gunfight, so I do a jump shot backwards and utilize my exit plan and reposition. I re-peek, he's not there, but I can slightly hear him to the right. This is where I'm caught off guard, so I utilize my bunny hop as a last resort. I spring right using a B-hop and shoot and aim down sight at the same time. I managed to get the kill and get behind cover at this point. I spot an enemy and he gets a couple shots on me. I take cover and I pre-fire again to see if I can get a quick kill. At this point, I try to change my location and attack from a different angle. I peek and notice how he thinks I'm still in my last known location. This way I was able to flick over and get the kill. As you can see, it's super useful having an exit plan to re-engage, using bunny hops when caught off guard. I've also been shooting and ADSing at the same time. If I know where the enemy is, I'm just trying to get my bullets in a little bit faster. It seems to be working well, and changing locations after a gunfight is also super useful to take the enemy by surprise. So that is it for today. So just my final thoughts about B-hops and movement in Warzone. I think it's super essential to have the right controllers set up or key bindings to be able to jump and aim at the same time. You may need to make some adjustments and experiment with your setup so it's more catered towards movement. I'll leave this up to you guys. I do go into detail about this subject more in my movement video and provide a few options, so go check out that video if you are interested. I'll leave a link in the description. Finally, with BHOPS, remember to experiment and just have fun with it. It may take a little while to utilize this move efficiently during gunfights, but it's super useful once you get the hang of it. Plunder matches are a good way to practice them and you can take it from there. Well, that is it from me today. I will see you guys next time and good luck on the Warzone.